Hi everybody, good afternoon, happy Monday. I hope you're having a lovely day and you're not too wet and windy where you are. Great to have you back for our last live show of the day in actual fact. And just in case you've stumbled across us and haven't realised that Carnation Crafts, brilliant brand, have got their own TV channel. It's been going now for a few months, quite a few months actually, and so many of you tune in on a regular basis to see fantastic demonstrations from the lovely Carla, who's here with me.
Hiya.
Hi, hello. Thank you for lunch, by the way.
You're quite welcome. It was quite the thing, wasn't it?
Gorgeous.
It was a nice charcuterie board with bread and cheese.
Meat
Very
platter.
yummy.
Very nice, very nice. Taz is here as well, so do get involved with the show if you'd like to via maybe Facebook or YouTube. Remember, we are on carnationcrafts.co.uk, the website. You can watch us that way. YouTube, of course, and also on Facebook as well. And get your friends to search for us as well and join in the fun. Now, once a month, I get invited to come along, which I always look forward to bring a brand new launch. Now, you might think to yourself, I've seen these launched all over the place or whatever. Yeah, well, Carnation Crafts, of course, are on different channels, but on their own channel, this one, we bring you a new and exclusive collection every 4 weeks. And this week's, or this month's, has been an absolute runaway success. Now, it's for those times in our lives that we don't like to think about and also hope don't come along. But sadly, everyone needs to actually put together or create sympathy cards from time to time. And that's what this collection at its heart is all about. Held in our hearts collection. But having said that, realistically, it's only the sentiments that are giving you the sympathy side of the collection. The rest of it is pretty generic. I mean, the dove, for example, there, yes, you associate the dove with sympathy possibly, but also you associate it with marriage, a new beginning. So it's very positive in that way too. You've got these beautiful charms that you can see here, these gorgeous flower charms with little loops at the end, so they physically could actually be a charm. They could actually go onto a piece of twine or something like that, and you can hang them from your card. If you're wondering what that strip is down there, that's actually 3 strips which you can weave together. You can cut it out numerous times and actually create this wonderful weave, which will be lovely. Your butterflies, the bloom of butterflies, to give you an idea of the potential of that, let me just show you this card just here. I've buried a few of them. Here we go. Let me just show you this. Now, this is using the reverse vignette. So you can have, of course, a vignette printed on the front and on the back, but that means you've then got a left and a right hand dove, which has been used here to great effect. But look at these butterflies. There are actually templates where the vignettes are on our website, which is carnationcrafts.co.uk, and you can print those templates off, and it actually shows you in a faint print where to place your 3-dimensional butterflies from the dies. They are, I just think that alone is absolutely stunning. Then on the bottom shelf, you've got celebrating a wonderful life, which is just lovely, because I think that's what we have to do when we're in those horrible situations, when we're going to say goodbye to somebody. Remember the good times, remember what they achieved in their life. That's what that's all about. You've then got with heartfelt sympathy on the other side. And in the middle, you've got the beautiful heart. Now, it says broken heart. Well, actually, it's not. It can be. You can actually kind of separate the heart and make it into 2, a bit like the metal lockets that you can buy where, you know, a partner wears one half of the heart, the other partner wears the other half. It could be a bit like that. And then you've also got your superb teardrop flourishes there. Now, they can be generically used as well. The focal point, though, the main part of this collection is up here. It's your hourglass card shape. It's stunning, absolutely gorgeous. Now, the whole collection is yours for under £100, so we've taken nearly £36 off the price, which is really good. It's 221101, and it is also available, of course, with free P&P if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, it's £4.95 postage for you for this, and we'll get it to you as quickly as we can. I know lots of you who've already ordered it. Yours have been dispatched already. They'll be with you ASAP. Before we go on to the demo and talk through the boards and everything, the guys at Carnation have developed a nesting collection of dies, which are just here, that works with this beautifully well. So overall, this completes the collection. One big collection, as it were. But we're obviously very well aware everyone's got a different type of budget. Well, these nesting dies, I've never seen anything like this before. This is your Hessian edge. So it looks like fabric. In different colorways, it could look almost like, in green, for example, it could look like pine needles. It's really lovely. And each of the nests has got that lovely frayed edge to it. So really different. You've got your diamonds, you've got your rectangles, you've got your circles, ovals, squares, and your your DL, and then this one is the texture plate. Now this actually has got lots and lots of metal work in the back that actually cuts in and cuts grooves into your paper, and there's the vignettes and the artwork for that as well, so it actually looks like fabric. If you've ever tried to use fabric in card making, sometimes it can be a bit awkward, maybe the glue doesn't adhere as well or whatever. When you're using paper, of course, and card, it looks like fabric, but it's actually cardstock. So the whole thing here, the Hessian Edge collection, is 221110, 129.99. There's 45 dies you're getting in this collection, which is absolutely superb value, and it's on free UK P&P as well. Now, if you wanted both of them together, and they are a perfect marriage, they fit together so beautifully well, then you can of course put the two in your basket. But what I would recommend, and I'm sure everyone at Carnation would recommend this as well, the perfect icing on the cake, or whatever you want to call it, or however you want to think of it, are the perfect papers. Now these are the Held in Our Hearts perfect papers, 48 300 GSM sheets of perfectly colour coordinated cardstock. So when you're printing off those vignettes, the artwork from the website this afternoon, you can sit there and admire the artwork and enjoy it. But these cards and these papers are going to be the perfect colours to complement that artwork. So the whole thing together, if you wanted to put it together into your basket, it will look very much like this. Here we go, and we do have a discount code which I'm going to give you in a second as well to get extra money off. $99.99 for Held in Our Hearts collection, $129.99 for the Hessian Edge mats and layers, and $14.99 for your perfect papers. Add that all together, it comes to $244.97. Now, bearing in mind you've got all those three items in your basket, there is a product code, a discount code, which if you put it in at checkout, it's HIOH 10. Okay, so it's letters HIOH and then numbers 10. That will give you $24.50 off, and no P&P if you're in the UK at all. And if you buy all of that and you're in the US, that will be $14.95 shipping and handling for you. But that's a great way of saving the most money by, of course, applying that promotional code. And we also have it on, of course, easy payment terms as well. So if you want to use ClearPay, they can let you have it for up to 4 interest-free payments. The first payment today will be £55.12, and then 3 more payments after that. If you want it on PayPal Pay in 3, we can offer you PayPal Pay in 3 payments. So that'll be $73.49, your first payment of 3, and no P&P if you're in the UK. Okay, so that's all the kind of housework done. A lovely collection, but it's not just about sympathy, is it, Carla?
No, it's across the board. It's as with all Carnation things, it's got all of the elements that we have for all the different card making processes we do. Just a massive hello to Doris,
hello,
or
Doris.
the Miss Dawna Wheeler, who is at home, who says, afternoon Carnation Crafts, huge congratulations to Mr. Dave.
Oh, Dawny, thank you, my love.
Who won at Crafting Personality. Doris, I miss you, baby girl. You need to come and see me. By the way, I need to cook for you. Karen Vincent says, oh dear, didn't realise you get the textured plate in the frame, so ordered it along with a complete collection, laugh out loud. Oh well, a spare. I've got many of those. Karen, Bob Carnation a message and they will help you out. It may have already been posted, but you can ring them and see, or message them, and they will have a look at your order for you. Right, let's have a quick run through these boards. I will be quicker with the boards this time because we have shown them on both of the shows that we've had previously this morning. If you want a more detailed look at those, please do go and check those out. Wheeler says, miss you all. Wheeler, we miss you.
I miss you too.
Wheeler's been a bit poorly sick and jobby, so she's been AWOL and then back and then AWOL again. So her and I are due an enormous catch up.
I may see Dawn later, possibly.
You might see Dawn later.
On the farm.
On the farm.
On the farm.
You might do. Right, let's have a look through these boards. So we start off with this absolutely gorgeous card shape. This is the hourglass card shape. It's super, super pretty. You get your, the largest die here, the largest cutout is your base card. Then you get your mats, your layers, your beautiful filigree, and then all of the layers that pile up in these teardrop shapes that are just so sweet. Now, the bottom 2 of those, where you can just see my nail, that red, that white, they are still sort of figure of 8 shapes, and then these ones are separate at the top. Karen says, thanks, Carl, but my mistake, so we'll keep it. Well, Karen, honestly, if you do want to contact Carnation, please do talk to them. They're ever so good in customer services, and they wouldn't for an instant think you should pay for it twice. So,
Carla, this is the 3rd time I've seen this, and
yes.
I've just realised if you use the top flourish, like the petal, if you cut that out 4 times and link them together,
4-leaf clover.
4-leaf clover.
Yeah. And the same as if you put two together, it creates this gorgeous kind of almost, it's like a heart shape almost if you piece the two bottom pieces together. Lots of ways of using that. But also with this, you can cut out the central panels here and you can cut out those edgings as well.
And remember, the artwork isn't just for the dies that I've shown you with the dove on and all that sort of thing. You've even got artwork and vignettes for the frames.
You have indeed.
Amazing.
Good afternoon, Mags. Have you all had your lunch? And if you have had your lunch, what did you all have? Because we had charcuterie and it was very nice. What did you guys eat? So this is the die in its whole completion. There you can see all your textured pieces where you've got the little rings and the lines here. That's all the texturing that comes through that we see going around the die, which kind of looks like a stitch mark. We move on to the absolutely stunning floral charms. These charms are exactly what they say on the box. So they're little charms like you would see on a charm bracelet, like I've got here. So you've got your little charms that sit and then the florals on the edge. So you've got all of your foliage pieces, the lily, the rose, the daisy, those extra florals, and this strip here.
Now, when I came in this morning, I looked at that and I thought, Carla, what is that? What's
yeah,
that for?
it's so clever.
It looks like a tuning fork.
It does look like a tuning fork, but it's your it's the kind of how we corner out your shapes, how you frame things. We can weave it together because the free edge here allows us to weave two of these together to create a woven piece. Or if you wanted to, you could obviously create a large woven background. But the little charms will hang off each one of those fronds as well, so you can create this gorgeous sort of flowing textured piece as it comes down. So it's really gorgeous. I love this so much, and I love the fact that we've got charms to play with. However, they do all have a snipping point, so if you don't want to use the charms on them, you can of course cut that snipping point
and
away.
you can snip the loops off as well if you just wanted to have the stem.
Yes,
you could
you could absolutely.
Yep.
Ooh, Karen, haven't had lunch, just prepared everything for a roast beef dinner. My favourite. I love a roast beef dinner. That's one of my roast taters and Yorkshire pudding.
Karen, I finish at 3. I'll be around by about 4:30. Is that all right?
We'll be with you, Karen. We're coming for dinner. And also with your Yorkshire puddings, make sure you save some and put jam in them. Then we've got the beautiful dove.
Jam Yorkshire puddings?
It's a pudding. It's only pancake batter.
Okay. Never tried that.
It's yum. Nutella or golden syrup or all of the... Oh, it's really nice. Keep some for your pudding. Anyway, we've got this beautiful dove of peace here, which is just so, so beautiful. It's the title of the die for this is Wing Beat. And obviously all of these can be bought on individuals as well. So if there is something that's just singing to your little heart and you decide there's just one of them that you want, please do go and look at the individuals also. But you can see how these little points can be snipped away. This corner, don't throw it, please, please. If you have cut this and you're keeping them separate, keep these. They're brilliant for corners for any of your cards. So please do remember to retain it.
Karen says, Dave, probably take you longer than that to get to Kent. You haven't seen me drive, Karen.
Not if he thinks there's a Yorkshire pudding at the end of it, that's all I'm saying. And also remember to put your gravy in your teapot and the tea cosy on because it keeps it nice and warm for the whole of your dinner.
That's a good idea.
I do it every year at Christmas.
I've never thought of that. Do I own a tea cosy? I don't think I do.
Well, I do. It's a sheep. We've got this beautiful broken heart. So we've got this little cracked heart in the centre. Now, as much as that's obviously a very sad and poignant piece, it doesn't need to be. First of all, if we keep it whole, you don't notice it, and you've got a little one here that you can place on top as well. You've got the feathers that work around it and are just so pretty. However, what you can do is just snip away the little bauble at the top and cut down the centre, and you can have two half pieces, so it can be that symbol of love coming together. It depends which way you play with it, really, but lots of different ways to make it poignant and right for you. And that's the important thing about Carnation dies, is that every step of the way through your crafting, you've got something for every moment.
There is absolutely nothing here to do with sympathy. This could be used in any type of card making, any type of crafting that you want to, but really different shapes and really different images there.
Really stunning, really stunning. I love this for snowdrops. I just think there's so much snowflakes. There's so much that sort of goes on, little tuck-ins for foliage pieces. The bigger flowers that sit on these squares, the smaller ones that sit on top. It's got that real vibrancy about it.
Absolutely, I love it.
I love it very much. Karen, always think of you when I see a teapot colour. It's a fantastic... It is, but I will say, if you're using onion gravy, you've got to chop your onions fine, otherwise you get stuck in the spout and there can be a splurge.
Oh, that could be a bit messy.
Time. Yeah. It's only happened once, but it was a disaster. So yes, these are all your backgrounds. These are the pieces that sit on the back of your cards and give it that textural basis that allow it to build up and have that kind of really insanely awesome aesthetic at the top when we put other elements on top of them. Backgrounds are really important in card making, and these are stunning. I love this one. I just think it's so pretty. This is an absolute dream of a set
My favourite.
of dies. Yeah, so you've got the 3 colorways here. These are your butterflies. They are the gradients, so we go from the light to the dark on each one of those colorways. That's my favorite color. I think it's incredible. And then as we see this coming together, we also get 5 templates from Carnation Crafts as well. Now these are A4 in size. They come with your vignettes, which is your artwork from the Carnation Craft website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk.
Correct.
When you get to that part of the website and you've downloaded them, so we're going to downloads, then we go to free downloads, and then on the right hand side it says collections, and you can type in the collection that you want, going right back from the beginning to before the rainbow to today's collection, held in our hearts.
There we go.
You select the one that you want and you can download the full set of vignettes for this whole collection. And once you've got that to your computer, you're going to open it in Adobe if you possibly can, and you're going to print at 100% or at actual size. Once you've done that and you've started to print them out, you can obviously cut your dies with your main, cut your vignettes, sorry, with your main dies. However, amongst those vignettes are templates for these butterflies. Now, if you have printed those out, for instance, on a 220 Pro print, so you've got that thicker cardstock that's coming through, along with the vibrancy of colour that we would expect from Pro print, they would obviously only be single-sided, the templates, but perfect for those A4 cards.
Well, can I just show this card just to show what Sue's done here? I showed you the blue one earlier on. The butterflies are in different colourways, blue and this kind of fawny grey colour. But if you just have a little look here, all of these are three-dimensional butterflies, which is why it looks so incredible and so stunning. If I just pull back that butterfly wing, can you see there is the actual print underneath it? So we're calling it a template, but it's like a little print of the butterflies, and the idea is that you overlay your die-cut butterflies to create this three-dimensional, it's almost like a butterfly sculpture, isn't it?
It is, it's amazing. And also, if you, as Sue has on a couple of hers there, if you offset them slightly, it looks like a shadow underneath where that template
lovely.
is. But it allows us to build up. So if I just move this chap here, can you see the print underneath?
Mm-hmm.
And the print underneath. Okay, so those templates are they're there for you to use as often as you want, and you can just lay your butterflies on top. It means that as we texturally pull these butterflies forward, and I won't do all of them, but you're going to still get the image of the butterfly below, which is going to give you this gorgeous drop shadow effect as it goes through. So they're super clever. I think they're a boon.
And a butterfly collection like that is a kaleidoscope. Is that right? Yeah, kaleidoscope of butterflies. There you go.
A cacophony of butterflies. And then we've got our 2 sentiments here. So we've got with heartfelt sympathy, that beautiful big sentiment that we've talked about so often, with the beautiful, gorgeous font that's used in that cursive to just give it kind of exemplify. It's almost an onomatopoeic font, really, in as much as it absolutely exemplifies what it is.
A what? Font?
Onomatopoeic.
Oh.
Onomatopoeic is, so the word zip would be onomatopoeic. It sounds exactly as the thing that it is. So
I see.
Zip. So that is, you know, you've got that gorgeous, what I mean by that is that the font is exactly what you would expect for something that is for a sympathy card.
I've never heard of that before.
Onomatopoeic.
No, I'm impressed. Then you got this one. This is my favourite verse, actually. Celebrating a wonderful life, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? I think.
It is. I think it's I mean, that would be the one that I would use. I know I would use it again and again and again for sympathy cards, because to me every life is worth celebrating, and you know it's just such a heartfelt kind of sentiment, isn't it? So celebrating a wonderful life.
Well, we said before that card making is important. It's enjoyable. But Christmas cards, birthday cards, engagement cards, anniversary cards, whatever it might be, they're lovely and they have their place. But probably the most important card you will ever make is a sympathy card. It's imperative to get it right, to get the design right, to get the words right, for it to, you know, just hit the right note, as it were. And that's what Carnation have done with this collection. But of course, it's not just sympathy, it's for all sorts of other occasions as well. If I just show you some of these amazing finished samples, and the design team again have done a fantastic job, helped of course by a fantastic collection. Fiona Abbott, hello Fiona if you're watching. This is another great use of those butterflies, and again Fiona's printed out that template free of charge from the website. I just love how they literally lift off the page. This is one that Carla did in the last show, and you can watch of course our earlier shows back. They are 9 AM and also 12 o'clock. So this beautiful three-dimensional card was done by Carla about a couple of hours ago. This one using some of the nesting dies with the raffia edge to it, or the Hessian, sorry, not raffia, but it could be raffia. Look at that, isn't that lovely? A couple of the hearts in the middle, a couple of the flowers above, some more off this side, so I'm mentioning you all equally. This one's from Lavinia Newton, beautiful Lavinia, really love it. Again, a couple of flowers and the words in the center as well. And this is just using one of the doves, a dove of love, dove of peace, dove of sympathy. It could be either of those, but absolutely beautiful. And Carla also showed you in the last show how to actually make the dove very three-dimensional and make it literally kind of jump off the page. And this was from our earlier show at 9 o'clock this morning too. So 221101, that's the Held in Our Hearts collection with all the elements you can see on the screen there under £100. But it may well be, maybe you bought this last night when we did a little bit of a preview, or Carla did. Maybe you bought it this morning and you're thinking, you know what, I love this so much, I really do want to go for the nesting dies as well. I mean, the chances are, unless you're buying these now, you've probably never seen or had the chance to have nesting dies like this. We've all seen, you know, distressed edges, or just the plain edges, to circles, diamonds, rectangles, squares. But these, to have that amount of detail around the edge, phenomenal. 45 dies you're going to get in total, and that is just £129.99. That's an ultimate matting and layering collection in one purchase there. 221110. Again, that is available on either ClearPay, where you can pay up to 4 interest-free payments, or on PayPal Pay in 3. But you know what? As we've got that fantastic discount promo code for you today, obviously if you buy this on its own and put the code in, you're going to be getting £12.99 off it, which is lovely. But if you go for the main collection and this, and maybe put the perfect papers in as well, because that's the perfect addition to complement your vignettes and the artwork. Beautiful pastel shades there. That's $14.99. You'll get the maximum discount of $24.50. 10% off if you put in HIOH 10. Okay, HIOH. Make sure they're letters and then the number 10. That will get you 10% off at checkout, and no shipping for you if you're in the UK. And if you're in the USA and you buy the main collection, it's $4.95. And if you buy the whole thing, you'll be looking at $14.95 for your shipping and handling charges in America. Right now. The mats and layers.
Demoing. So we're going to do this. Sorry, my brain was all fuzzy. We've got all of these Hessian nested dies, and these are just crazy, crazy beautiful. There's something about them. There's something about having nested dies that are different to everything else that we own within our nested collections. And you can never have enough nested dies as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately for us as crafters, Carnation cannot bring us nested dies every time we have collections, because obviously there's an awful lot of work that goes into them. So when they do bring them, we always know they're going to be spectacular. And this was absolutely a vivid demonstration of that.
And that's a vignette as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is a vignette, but all the little detailing that we put on. Can you pass me the die, Dave? Sorry to be a pain.
There you go.
So when you actually look at the metal die, look at that.
Look at the detail
Every
in
single
there.
tiny little measure that is on there is getting compressed into your paper and embossed into your paper on a vignette that gives you all of the colouring that you need in order to create something that does look truly Hessian. So there at no point is there any kind of, you don't look at that and go, oh, well, that's a piece of card. To be honest, you look at that and think that's a piece of fabric. And that's the joy of it, isn't it? Now, the only way it could look even more like fabric is, for instance, if it had a Hessian edge.
Yeah.
So if you use that and you cut these out, then you're getting that idea, aren't you?
Didn't think of that. What a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's how you create the whole Hessian piece. So yes, this is a card base. Yes, it's a base for your mats and layers as well. But if I was to put this die, this tiny little one, onto here and cut it out of this, it's going to have all of my Hessian edges as well. So I get both little measures there.
Without any of the downside of trying to stick fabric onto cards, because it doesn't always go that well.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It can be very tricky. So these are your Hessian nested. So you've got here all your diamonds. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in your diamonds, and each one has a varying amount of dies inside, because it all depends on how useful the little one on the inside is actually going to become.
And portrait or landscape.
Portrait or landscape. And again, when you've got using your diamonds and things like this, we start to think about how we can use them for easel cards, because they look so incredible when they're folded down that central panel. From the diamond, we have the DL, one of the most popular card shapes I still think that there is to date. It was a massive trend when it sort of first came out in crafting, and it hasn't got any less popular, I have to say. DLs are beautiful, they're breathtaking, and there's something about that card shape that we don't get in any other way.
And it's had a massive surge in popularity just recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think DL's always going to be the one that comes back in, in and out of fashion. It stands for designer length, which means just simply that it's a completely different card shape to the ones that we would expect when we would expect squares and rectangles. Talking of which, these are your beautiful rectangular Hessian nested dies. Look at them. Look at these edges. Aren't they so gorgeous?
I've never seen dies like them before.
But isn't that nice
Yes.
that you've never seen dies? I mean, how long have you been in the craft industry for, Dave?
Oh, decades.
Centuries.
I'd say 15 years in craft.
And that's the point, that we can still, Carnation can still bring things to Dave that Dave hasn't seen in the crafting industry after all of that time. That's why Carnation
Because a lot
is
of other
special.
companies sometimes tend to repeat, and you can think, oh, I saw that a few years ago. I've already got that in my collection. Whereas Carnation, they always reinvent the wheel, don't they?
Reinvent the wheel. And also, Carnation don't depend on, I'm not saying that all companies do this, but Carnation don't depend on other companies bringing something out for them to be able to formulate something from that idea. They come up with the idea.
Yeah.
They are
They're
the
leaders.
pioneers in the craft world. And that's, there's a massive point of pride working for a company that work like that. So these beautiful circular Hessians as well, these are my favourite. I just think there's something really tactile about it. There's something so tactile. It almost looks like animal fur on here as well. I love it very much. Then we've got the squares. As you can see, all the different layers that we've got there. So every single red and white is a different die. And then finally through this, we've got the gorgeous ovals, perfect for your easels, and are really beautiful for those half cards as well, where you score it in half and use that to make your little shapes. Just beautiful.
Now, please, whatever you do, make sure that you watch back the earlier shows as well. That was at 12 o'clock today and also at 9 o'clock. And we did ask earlier on, what time of day do you prefer to watch these shows when we do them? Lots of you said you prefer the early morning, so we'll kind of look at that for you going forward as well. But if you want to join us for the entire hour and then maybe watch the other two shows back, you can do that on YouTube. You can do that, of course, on, I think, on the website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. You can watch the earlier show back, can't you?
Aye.
Facebook you can too. So lots of ways of watching shows you may have missed. But remember, this is not anywhere else at the moment. It's exclusive to us on our TV channel, Carnation Crafts TV, and it won't be anywhere else for a little while. So get in now while we've got this fantastic deal and enjoy that extra 10% gift that the guys at Carnation are giving you. HIOH 10 will get you 10% off. Marvellous.
So let's have a look at some elements. My aim today is to try and show as many elements from the collection as we possibly can going through. That's not always possible, but I am doing my best. So we're just doing the same as we normally do with our two largest pieces. Shuffle them together with that score at 1/2 inch and just place with your red liner tape so that you've got your perfect card base. Now, look at that blue.
Ooh.
How pretty is that?
Can I say the name?
Wedgwood.
Yes.
You don't have to. So I've got a 3mm foam tape here, and if I can just get that halfway down. Those, honestly, the perfect papers, I know I always say about the perfect papers mainly because they match and you can't go wrong, but this time, man alive, did they do the prettiest colours.
But remember, they're not paper. They are 300 GSM cards. Just kind of perfect paper scans better off the tongue.
Yeah, it does. It's alliteration.
Yes.
Alliteration, darling. So I'm going in with that layer first, and then I'm going in with the much, look at those together.
Perfect.
Isn't that beautiful? I would say that would be gorgeous in white as well, because it really would give it that Wedgwood kind of idea. Let's just take these off and place it through.
So you actually get, it's 3 dies, isn't it, for the outside mats and layers, I think, 3 different sizes. Yes.
Yeah, it's whacking, it's huge. Right, so before I go any further with this, you can see I've got my figure 8 just sitting here, my infinity, and I have put some butterflies onto, look how pretty that is. Don't have to do anything else, there's your demo. Super pretty. Now I stuck those on previously. I did say to you yesterday on the Facebook Live that some of them I had pre-stuck the butterflies just for the sake of time. However, of course, they do flatten. So if you're just, you know, if you've had yours sitting and waiting, then you can just lift your little flutterbies up.
And would you sculpt the wings with the ball tool?
Do you know what? No.
No?
You could, if you really wanted to go to the nth degree. I wouldn't see so much a need to do it with butterflies because generally their wings are quite straight anyway. And for me, your textural design comes from the uplift of the wing rather than the curvature of the wing. So that would just be the way I would play with it. But what I want to do is do something with the background. So you can see I've cut the inside piece of my my infinity sign or my hourglass sign. I've cut it away so it's now a blank space on the inside. And that's going to allow me to do some stuffs. So one of the things that it's going to allow me to do is place this and allow it to be my backdrop.
Okay.
See how pretty that comes? It's so, so gorgeous. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't know if my wet glue
I suppose that could also be a cross if you wanted it to be, couldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's got that religious aspect to it if you want it to have that. Right, let me just... Look, I've got so many piles of glue from working this morning. By the end of it, I'll have a full row of them all.
Now, our everyday glue you'll find on the website and also the little applicators. I know we're always getting questions about, oh, where'd you get the applicators that Carla's using? They'll be on the website as well. They're in packs of, is it packs of 50? There's quite a few in there.
You get a ton of them, I don't know.
Loads.
I use them a lot. I'm just going to place tiny dots just on the outside.
You use the tiniest amount.
I never use a lot of glue. It's the worst mistake you can make. Like I say to you every time, A, glue's sticky, and B, you can put more on. You can't take it away.
And you don't want glue squidging out from all over the place, so the tiniest amount's all you need.
I would much rather have too little and have to restick than have too much and it just be everywhere. Look at that.
Love it.
I love that. Guys, listen, take that. Take a rose, take a stem.
Perfect card. It doesn't need much more, does it?
Carnation speaks for carnation. You don't need to be excessive with anything with carnation because it's done for you. That is just spectacular.
And sometimes less is more. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but I quite like minimal cards.
Yeah, I do.
Don't get me wrong, I love some of the ones that have gone really flamboyant here. They're fantastic. But sometimes just a simple card is all that's needed.
Right, I'm going to now put my central panel on for the hourglass card shape.
Can also thank you if you're one of the many people that actually voted in the Craft Awards as well. I was so touched, and I know lots of you, I work somewhere else obviously when I'm not working here at Carnation, so if you voted because of what we do here at Carnation, then thank you ever so much, much appreciated.
We love you, David.
I love you back.
You're our favourite, we love you. Right, I'm just pinching those through.
Honestly, this is my favourite day of the month, coming here.
Oh, we love it when David B comes. Right, I'm just going to place this here. Look at that about right. And pop it down. Look at that.
Perfect.
Look how pretty that is.
It's like they're all lining up to take off, isn't it?
It is. Isn't it so gorgeous with that little strip, that flourish? I just think that's so pretty. Something about it.
Hi Gail. Gail's just tuned in. Welcome to the show, Gail. If you've missed any of the shows earlier, they're all there for a bit of a rewind after we finish this show.
I've got these little blue flowers that come from those flourishes. Now normally you would sit this in the centre of those flowers, the centre of that flourish, but I'm just going to use it in the centre of this piece here, just as a little visual, just a tuck in, because it's just that little flourish of white, it's that change of colour, little pop of colour.
That works.
Doesn't it?
Beautiful.
Pretty.
And remember, if you are ordering this, why not straight away go to our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk, to download and enjoy the vignettes. Look at the artwork. All this artwork you can have in your hands this afternoon if you've got a printer with some paper, and then the dies will be there a day or two. Absolutely no trouble at all.
Now, I'm not going to do much more with this because I'm okay with how it looks. I would be quite happy leaving that exactly as it was. I am going to add some more ink just for some colour, and also to just change and to emphasise where that figure, the hourglass figure, comes in. So now obviously at the moment what we're emphasising is that point across, and in some ways we lose the infinity sign because of it. So what we can do is balance that out by bringing in and drawing this way, and I'm going to use my roses and my leaves in order to do that.
And if you were wondering about the significance of the infinity, yeah, it's a symbol for no beginning and no end, eternity. So it really is a lovely...
You and me,
I
Dave.
know, no beginning, no end.
No beginning, no end. Somebody turn them off. So on the leaf, I'm just going to place a little bit on the stem, and then I'm going to place this right at the base. So what I'm going to do is put my rose just at the base of these leaves, so it's literally as long as it can be, if that makes sense. So that gives it its longest length, and then I can go in at the back. I don't need to worry about that one because, and just chop the little charm off that one. Okay, all I'm going to do at this point then is just take my hand and just manipulate it slightly, not too much, just so I've got a little bit of dome in. You could use a ball tool if you wanted to, there's no real need. And then I'm going to pin flare that up. Not only will that absolutely secure those together, but it'll give me a little bit of a raise, and I'm just going to place that just there. Same again on the other one. Look at that, pretty, pretty, pretty.
It's coming together nicely.
I love the pretty.
And of course, if you want to colour in your flowers and your butterflies yourself, you can of course use the vignettes as a colouring guide, like a tutorial.
It's almost like teaching yourself to do it when you do it that way, because you can use Nick's shading lines to teach you how to do your shading and where to do your shading, but you can use your own colours, you can use your own media, whether you want to use, you know, paint or watercolour or chalks, pastels, all of those things.
And also think about what you print onto. We always talk about pro paper, but what about maybe printable vellum or printable acetate? You know, all these images can go onto whatever you've got that is printable. Simple as that. Even fabrics. Even fabrics.
You play away. Right, then I'm just going to come in with my final bit of pin flare for this side. I'm just going to add a couple of feathers when I've done this. Look at those. See how pretty that is. God, those roses are, look at that. Those roses are such a pop of colour, right? There's something really extraordinary about them. The reason I'm going to put the feathers on there is not really to do anything more than to give it a symbol of sympathy, a symbol of eternity, a symbol of those things. So I don't want the feathers particularly to be the showstoppers. I don't want them to have centre stage so much, but I'm just going to tuck them very gently and very quietly just behind the little roses.
It's very true what they say about feathers though. We had a loss in our family earlier this year, and I don't know whether it was because I was looking for them or whether they would have been there anyway, but white feathers seem to be around a lot more.
I said yesterday on the Facebook Live, because like I say, I lost my friend and I always say to him, Dan, send me a feather so I know you're here. And always, always I find feathers. So I know that we all have different beliefs, but it's very, very true, and I take great solace in that as well. So I'm happy to believe that. Look at that,
Look at
guys.
that, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
This is the most extraordinary collection from Carnation Crafts.
In actual fact, there's nothing that says sympathy on that card whatsoever.
No. And there's nothing that would particularly have to be, you know, a sympathy card, in that you could send that for weddings, for christenings, for birthdays, for Mother's Day, even for Father's Day. There's all kinds of ways and means of sending that, but there is something that is so very gentle. If it is a sympathy card, it works all the way through.
And also there's an extra bonus for you this afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, if you're watching it back maybe on Monday evening or Tuesday morning or whatever. If you go to the download section where we showed you earlier on, Taz popped it up on the screen for you, where you've got the vignettes, the artwork. There's actually the templates on there as well, which I've not seen before, not seen Carnation do this before. And it basically prints almost like a very faint image of the butterflies to create the half moon, to create this fantastic kaleidoscope of beautiful, beautiful butterflies. And of course, the butterflies are available in different colorways as well. They start off darker blue, go through to lighter blue. You've got a fawn and a grey version of the same as well. All on there, and they're not going to disappear. They're going to be there for you, and you can print them off as many times as you like. And just to show you on the butterflies, if you're thinking, oh, okay, it's going to take me forever to cut all those butterflies out. The actual die strips themselves, you can cut 4 in one pass with that one. You can actually cut 2, 4, 6 with this one, and a further 2, 4, 6 on that one as well. So provided you've got a machine with a wide enough mouth, you could actually cut all of those out in one pass through the machine. So it won't take you forever and ever and ever. But what you have got, of course, are the vignettes that will match up with the dies perfectly. So you'll get perfectly coloured butterflies and perfectly cut butterflies. Now, ideally, in an ideal world, you'd probably want to go for the first collection and the mats and layers as well, because they have been very much put together with each other in mind. So that's like one big collection that you'll just love and use and just fall in love with. Having said that though, that does amount to about, with the discount, about 220 odd pounds, something like that, 224 pounds if you go for the main die collection, the mats and the layers, and also of course the perfect papers. So that's not in everybody's budget, we're totally well aware of that. So that's why we give you the opportunity of having ClearPay, which is 4 interest-free payments, up to 4, or PayPal Pay in 3, and that would be £73.49 for PayPal, £55.12 for ClearPay if you wanted 4 payments, if you're going to go for the whole thing. And with that discount code, which is HIOH10, that will give you £24.50 off the combined price, okay? But if you just want to have the main collection, the Held in Our Hearts collection, then that is £99.99. If you just have fallen in love with the Hessian Edge mats and layer dies, they're £129.99 with 45 dies in that collection alone. And if you just want the perfect papers, or maybe add a few of them into your basket, £14.99 for 48 sheets of 300 GSM quality card and colour matched to the artwork with the vignettes. It's all there. If you have a little look at carnationcrafts.co.uk, that's where the vignettes are, and just print them off to your heart's content. What are you going to be printing onto? Pro paper? Fantastic. What about printable acetate? What about vellum? All those things. What about even fabric? And I dare say, like with cotton and things like that, your die butterflies, you could actually cut out of cotton, couldn't you? Print them on cotton.
I would have thought so, yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways of playing with this collection. I mean, it's such a big collection, isn't it? It's massive, so all of those elements. Again, with Carnation, I will say one thing to always remember with Carnation is it's never about collections, it's about tools. They're all tools, and we get to use them again and again and again, but merge them. You know, put some of these pieces in with Before the Rainbow, put some of them in with Garden Safari, you know, Tools of the Trade, all those things, put them in with all the different collections and see how they work, because you'll find that they all come together
now,
perfectly.
I can notice that you've got the texture plate and you've actually cut out with one of the matting and layering dies.
Really, Mr. Swanky?
It really looks so real.
I know,
like
we're going to have a look
fabric.
at that in demo.
Yeah.
It's just clever. Like, when a Carnation not going to be clever, I would like to see the day, because so far I haven't seen any company progress as quickly as Carnation, and you guys saw it before anybody else did. I think you guys at home recognised how different their stuff was. And
that's why I'm so proud to be asked to come and do this each month, because Nick and Mark in the office phoned me just while this was being set up and said, you know, we can see how passionate you are about our company and our products. We'd like you to host it each month. And that's how it happened. I'm just delighted that I can.
you know, huge matter of a point of pride. I mean, you can't believe how proud you are. I can't believe how surprised I am that they keep letting me come back. I think it's through choice, I'll be totally honest. Right, let's have this. This is extraordinary, and you're not going to get the full impact of that colour on at home. That is the nicest, most beautiful colour. Now I'm just gonna, I've got this on a 1mm, so it's fairly flat, and I'm just going to piece it down.
Karen says stunning card, Carla. Last one.
Thank you, Karen.
Brilliant. Thank you. And Gail Giles, or Gail Giles actually, sorry. Hi Gail. Always nice to see you on Facebook.
We loves it when she joins. Right, so place, push, pull. Now, the backing papers.
Yes.
Oh, good Lord, the backing papers.
I keep forgetting to mention those. They're on the website as well, free.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not crazy beautiful, guys?
And look at the colour coordination.
Oh, yeah. And they're free. These ones, they're free. That is so pretty. It's breathtaking. So I put that. So that was on a 1mm. I've raised these to a 3.
So you've printed the backing paper on card, not paper.
It's on ProPrint,
Right.
and I've printed it onto 220. I always print my backing papers onto 220 ProPrint because I like it to be thicker. I like it to, if I printed it on normal paper, it would be too flimsy for me. We all craft differently. I like mine to be thick.
That's nice because backing papers normally, by their nature, are usually quite thin and flimsy.
I know, I don't like it when I'm doing, especially when I'm putting things on them. Carnation, we tend to rely on what we're using to hold the weight of what we're placing on top. So for me, that 220 ProPrint, the fact that I've got the option of that is crazy good. So I can place that there. Can you see how that now sits structurally? If that was a piece of paper, I would get dipped in it. So
yeah,
I don't have to worry about that.
Linda
says, I'm not a pink person, but I agree about the colour of the paper. Linda, I'm the least pink person you could ever meet. You can ask anyone that you ever meet. I am not a pink person at all, and I love this colour. I don't do girly. I never have. I don't understand how to be girly. And I don't necessarily mean that you need to be girly to like pink, but I don't get it. But I love this rose colour.
I quite enjoy wearing pink.
Yeah, Arthur, my eldest, loves wearing pink. Out of all of us, he is the one who loves to wear it the most. I don't suit pink either, I have to say. I look a bit strange and washed out, but I'm obviously quite olive-skinned and dark hair, so it sort of fades me out. Look at that. How pretty is that?
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Really pretty. Right, here we go.
Now, doesn't that just look like frayed Hessian or burlap?
It just looks like a piece of Hessian, and we buy Hessian for crafting, don't we?
But it's not very easy to stick down or stick things onto, to be honest.
It's also, you can't raise it up. Whereas this, obviously I can put it on foam tape and I can raise it, but that looks about as real as it comes.
Yeah.
Now, obviously I can use that in a diamond formation, which I think is so gorgeous, or I can take it through and use it as that square. So I just wanted to show you that first. I am going to use it, but I also want to show you
the first thing I said to Carla when I came in really early this morning, what are those bars all about? I looked at them, I couldn't work out what you'd use them for. And
you can use them for a various different amount of things. Now I've woven those two together. Can you see? It's just a tiny weave that goes through. So this one in the middle is sitting on top of this one, and the others are all underneath. So it's just a simple weave as you would weave anything normally. Now obviously you've only got two edges that have got that point, so if you're weaving the other side you would weave it through that way, and that is an option. So that means I can use it here in a corner, which I love. I can use it in the opposite corner, which I love. So we've got those alternatives. I could use it almost as a teepee kind of point if I wanted to as well, which I love, or I can add a third in and create a kind of swag going round. It's entirely up to me in the way I choose to craft.
Cutting a few of those out and plaiting them right the way across, that would make a lovely woven background, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would. Now I can weave this through. I'm probably just going to stick it just for speed's sake, guys. I'll just stick it because it'll be quicker, but you can weave all three, and when I've got more time in a demo, if I do a comp one this week, if we get a chance to do a comp show, I will weave, but for the sake of the demos today, I'm just going to piecemeal roughly about right. So
sometimes it's really nice to invest that bit of time and do something that maybe takes a bit of time to do, but when you've done it and you look at it, you think, that looks really good.
If I'm sat at home and I'm just making, I would absolutely have woven those together. It's just because I'm on and we're limited as far as time's concerned. So I'm just going to put that there just for the time being. So I've got this gorgeous little border that's starting to create, and it narrows my canvas down, which means...
That could be a gazebo now, couldn't it?
It could be a gazebo. But it means I've now got this that I can place, and I can place it any which way that I choose. Now, I don't know which way I'm going with this. I quite like the diamond formation, I'm going to be totally honest, so I'm probably going to chance that. But before I commit, I know that I want to have my two doves, and I know that I want them to maintain the corner panel. So I'm just going to choose by placing first where I think I want them to be, and this is where your comp comes in. Which one do you feel most comfortable with? I love that, and I think it looks super pretty with that little piece just behind it, or I can turn it, put it square. Do I want it to be that way instead, comp wise? Which do I prefer? I prefer the diamond, I'm going to be honest.
I think I agree. Yeah.
It's that lovely kind of flow that comes down. But you see how changing that changes the whole card completely. I've absolutely changed what that card looks like and what it means just by one simple quarter turn as such, or half turn if you like, of a square. And every time we do that, we create a different perspective. So I'm going to stick with it in the diamond formation.
Makes it look more like a patch when you have it as a diamond.
It does, it does. So I'm just going to use a tiny amount of glue on these, not much at all. I don't want it to be excessive. Now, one of the things that I could have done on here, I haven't, but I could have done, is before I stuck that on, before I glued it together, I could have pinned my charms across. And that was an option that I had. It wasn't what I wanted to do for this one specifically, but just to let you know, that is one of the options. So,
Linda's just said, she said, you wouldn't know that that was just paper.
I know,
you wouldn't.
it doesn't, it just looks like fabric, doesn't it? I promise you it is paper. We're not pulling the wool over your eyes. All right, let me just sit that straight-ish. So we've got it. Now, when you're at home, do take a little more time than I am and just make sure everything's straight and neat. If I haven't put enough glue, I can add more. My mantra for life: better to add more than try and take it away. So just a smidge there. So I've got this beautiful little piece coming through. It's all quite sort of higgledy-piggledy, which I love. We're going to take these and we're going to cover the majority of it. So this is all this is doing is giving me a visual that I don't really take notice of. It's there, and I know it's there, but it's more about that textural background. So we push it back, because as soon as we bring these in, our focus moves, okay? And that's important. I'm not going to shape these out. I don't need to, and I don't want to. So just a tiny little amount of glue, and I'm just going to lay him down, but I'm going to lay him from the flat piece on the back card up to the higher piece on top of the Hessian. Do you see what I mean? So he's flat down here, but on the Hessian he's raised because this is on foam tape. I'm just going to make sure just that he absolutely sticks.
When I come here each month, I never know what to expect. But one thing I always know is...
In general.
I know. But one thing I always know is I'm going to be delighted and also surprised. There's always an element of surprise, like that looking just like Hessian fabric, when in actual fact it's a sheet of paper. But the combination of the dyes and everything, and the artwork as well, the vignettes, just makes it all come to life.
Every time. They do it every time. Every time I get a set from Carnation, I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is. And then I open it, I'm like, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's the most exciting thing. Now this one you can see is just sitting slightly above. Now, I tell you all the time, don't I, let's get that shadow play going. I would never leave that as it is. I don't want it to look like it's come unstuck. So I'm going to take the time to just lift and glue just some mini elements down. That'll probably be enough. But I don't want it to look like it accidentally lifted and, you know, got lost in the process. Now already we are looking absolutely extraordinary. What I've done here is I've woven through, can you just see, I've got the two little pieces of the heart, so I've got the two charms, so one and then two on top, and I've just pushed them through each other, so I've got two sitting together to create that extra little heart at the top, which I think is super sweet. And I'm going to leave this flowing free, so I'm just going to use a little bit of glue on the top loop.
I mean, that could be symbolic maybe of a couple,
Mother
and a
and
new
child,
little baby.
yeah. Parent and child. So I've just got glue at the top piece. I'm going to put that between the two doves and take that to the top of the diamond. Just place down. Look at the pretty.
Beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous? They're so gorgeous together. And then I just want to cover up this area here, and I'm going to add to it by adding more of those leaves in because I want that colour coming through. Really gorgeous, but I then want to cover it with roses because I don't want to leave these loops. To me they look unfinished when they're just left piled on top of each other. It doesn't give it that neat finish that I'm looking for, but I will take time to just make sure I'm placing them as much on top of each other as I can, just as it goes through, and I'm not sticking any of the actual leaf down. That I want to leave free. So again,
Oh, this is really sweet. Umberta. Hello, Umberta. Nice to hear from you again. She says, gorgeous Carla. Love, love, love watching the Carla and Dave duo.
I love, 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 love being part of the Carla and Dave duo. It makes me very happy, Humberto, and we love it when you join us. So thank you for giving us your time. So let's start to just pile a couple of roses. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use one or if I'm going to use two. Let me give myself the option. So I'll be quick. And we're just going to shape this out, use my ball tool, work from the outside, work around.
Now obviously the vignettes, if you don't necessarily need to have the printing on both sides, just print them singularly, save yourself some ink. But when you do want to use them and have them both sides, or you want a left and a right of something, it's there as the option, which I think is fantastic. And that was actually discovered by accident, really, wasn't it, by Carnation?
I think it was by design, by Nick. I think he did design it to be both ways, but I think it took a lot of working out, because you're talking about the amount of space between, you know, each one has to be equidistant, but within a certain, you know, dynamic within maths that I know nothing about. So I think it took an awful lot for him to finally get there. And it's just a really gorgeous end product, really, that he's come up with this idea of being able to have them both ways, which gives us double the amount for our money, and it also means we don't get those garish white edges that nobody wants on the back of their dies or the back of their cards. Look at this. Look,
and now you need never squirm or feel embarrassed when someone says, could you do me a sympathy card, and you're thinking, actually, I haven't got anything that's appropriate. You certainly have now. But the lovely thing about this collection is it's not just sympathy. Those doves can work for peace, they can work for love, all sorts. And of course you've got the heart there as well. So it's only really the sentiments that mention anything about sympathy. The rest of the collection can be used in everyday crafting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the same for everything Carnation, though.
Yeah.
Because everything they do is about, you know, using it all together and it not being just a one-trick pony. They've never made one-trick pony dies. I think that is so beautiful and so pretty, very understated, but at the same time with such a kind of a strong message, I suppose, going across it. So I'll lift it up so you can see it from the front and...
Beautiful. Now, I love the fact that Carnation give you something for nothing. Yes, you're going to get a great deal with both of these collections today, or the whole collection is going to save you the most money, with, of course, the perfect papers too. But the fact that the vignettes and the artwork are on the website now, and there's no charge for those whatsoever for this, and also the background papers on there as well, which is what Carla used as the background on that one. All there as a freebie, basically. And you can, whenever I buy anything either online or I have to wait for a delivery or whatever, I'm impatient. I'm the most impatient person I know. I want to get it in my hands now. You'll have the artwork this afternoon. Do it now. Print it on your printer. But the dies and whatever you order will be on its way. You should hopefully get it, if not tomorrow, the day after. I've loved it. Thank you ever so much for your company today. I'll be back in a month's time. But you're going to be back tomorrow at 11.
I am indeed back at 11 tomorrow.
Thank you, Taz.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, and enjoy the shows tomorrow. And don't forget, you can watch back the 9 o'clock, the 12 o'clock, and this one again whenever you choose.